Welcome to today's session of modeling of memories. Today we will discuss about how to model memories. Single port, there are different types of RAMs available in hardware, that is called single port RAM and dual port RAM. So, we will discuss about synchronous read, synchronous write, single port RAM, followed by asynchronous read and synchronous write. In future classes we will discuss about dual port RAM, modeling of RAMs and FIFO. So, in my earlier classes while discussing about data types, we have already in detail discussed about how to model memories by using registers, two dimensional arrays, how to initialize memory by using certain tags called read mem b, read mem h. Okay. So, you can refer for in details how to model a memory and how to initialize it either by using system tasks or assigning the values individually. You can refer to those slides. Okay. While starting in short, we can discuss like a memory is an array of registers declared using res declaration. So, we know that memories are classified as like random access memory and read only memories. So, we will start our discussions from RAM followed by ROM. We will end up with fast in fast out FIFOs. Okay. So, in Verilog we use register type data type for declaring the memory. So, we can use reg and after that the syntax is you have to give the size of the memory by in square bracket you have to give what is the MSB and what is the LSB. Then you can write here the memory name followed by the boundary of the memory. That means, this will decide the width of the memory and this will decide the, this is you can say width of the memory and this will decide the depth of the memory. Okay. So, example, so in one declaration of reg you can declare many memories. Okay. So, example is reg 7:0, my mem 0:255. So, here my mem is an array which is of 256 number of elements are there, rows are there where you can store different data values which is consists of 8 bit. Okay. So, we can say width of the my mem memory is 8 bit whereas depth is 256 bit. So, we can say like if this is a memory, so there are different locations are there, address locations starting from 0 to 255 in decimal if you will say, and in the left side from starting from 7 to 0. So, there will be different cells where you can save around 8 bit of data. Okay. So, we can also tell that the memories or RAMs, here we are discussing now about RAMs. So, if it is ROM then data will be stored. Okay. So, here whatever we will discuss today it is about RAM in which we can both read and write. Okay. So, mostly memories are specified like 2 to the m cross n memories. Okay. This is you can say the size of the memory where m refers to your address line and n refers to your width of the data what you are storing. Okay. So, here the in this particular example what will be my size. So, it is around 8. So, if you will count 2 to the 8 it will become 256. Okay. So, there are different locations from starting from 0 to 255. Okay. So, my m will be here 8 for this example and n will be 8 also. Okay. Now, we have discussed this actually a part of my slide what we have discussed in data type in earlier classes. So, arrays with more than 2 dimensionals are not allowed in Verilog. A memory belongs to register type data type. That means, there is no such different syntax used to declare a memory in the Verilog. So, you have to use res type of data type to declare a memory. Okay. Only thing in the right side of your declaration you have to give a depth or boundary which will decide the depth of your memory. That means, how many memory locations are there. Okay. So, another thing, if you let us say this is a memory. So, I want to if we will in short we can say if this is a memory, let us say RAM. So, obviously it will have a output. So, in this case it is 8 bit. So, I am writing like data underscore out is 8 bit. So, it has a input of again 8 bit. So, data underscore in is also 8 bit. So, we have a address line called let us say address. So, address is again of 8 bit. 2 to the m will become 256 different location. Apart from that, many times you may have chip select or output enable. There are a few controlling signals will be there, and also another important thing is you will have a write enable signal. Okay. So, write enable signal. So, what I am doing is in this particular example I am taking CS and write enable, and we are taking a clock. So, I am not taking a reset here. If you want you can take, but many times if you are not taking reset also you can initialize the data simply writing to the memory. Okay. So, if it is a clock, so this is my you can say a module IO terminals. Okay. So, if I am declaring this mym address, so it is inside this I am declaring a temporary register of mym which will divide this entire structure into 8 bit corresponding to 0 to 255 numbers of locations. So, total 256 number of locations. Okay. So, while writing into memory the operation is like this. So, this can be termed as a writing and this can be termed as a reading out of the memory, reading of data. Okay. So, while writing, so data in has to be written into the mym. So, that is why how to write into the memory. So, we have written mym with address location. I told in earlier classes here, like if there is a register you can directly, like if D is a 4 bit register you can directly write down 4 tick B 400. So, it will work, but in memory case you have to, you can't write directly, this already we discussed. So, you have to take, if M is a memory, so you have to take the individual bit, then you have to declare the corresponding values. Okay. So, that is a difference you have to remember. So, while declaring, so we are taking my memory across with the address location. So, this address may vary from depending upon to the m location 0 to 255 in this particular example. So, data input will go and return into the my mem bracket the address location. So, this is called as how you can writing into the memory. Okay. Then further how to read into the read out from the memory. So, data output can be taken out by mym underscore address. So, these are the simple syntax. This has to be written appropriately in Verilog by using always and corresponding input output and control signals, then the entire RAM will be formed. Okay. And this is the same thing, like if you want to access an individual bit of the memory or assign something to individual bit, then you have to access it through the individual memory locations. So, mym bracket 1, again we have taken 8 bits. So, I have put 8 different values of 8 bit to assign to the mym underscore 1. Okay. So, that means one location of the first location of the mym array or memory will contain this 8 bit value, binary value. Okay. So, what we have done is we will write down the, I have today we have 2 examples. So, we will start with one, we will understand it properly by writing it down. Next one will I have the code written that we will discuss. Okay. So, as the first example is about modeling the random access memories RAM, which can do both reading or writing. Okay. But many times we will see that at a time it will do either reading or either writing. Okay. So, here one thing I left out is write enable. So, chip select is used, that if chip select is high, it is something like that block is ready to work. Okay. But write enable is a, so here data input, data output, clock and address and write enable. So, these are the, you can say, must data terminals as a input output it requires to design a memory. Okay. So, mostly the terminology of industry is that if write enable is high, then it will do the writing operation. Okay. So, that means it will write this to the memory, and if write enable is 0, it will do the reverse conditions, that is it will do reading out of the memory. Okay. So, many examples you may find that, or if in some examples it is specified that you take write and read as a different terminal, you can take this. So, is also allowed, like you can take write WA for one and read RD for other, that is okay. But at a time memory, as it is a single block, you can either at a time it will do writing operation or reading operation. Okay. So, accordingly you have to write the always block appropriately, at both in may not work at a time. Okay. So, write plays a very important role in the memory design. Okay. So, as this is the block diagram, the question is you design a single port RAM with synchronous read and synchronous write. Okay. So, there are single port RAMs are there, there are dual port RAMs are also there. So, we will discuss one in some future classes. So, single port RAM is that, like it will have one set of whatever input output we have discussed till now, like address, data, clock, CS, write, data out. This will be consisting of one set of data inputs and it will consist of single port. So, similarly, you may have another set in the same memory, that is called dual port RAM. Okay. So, you may have write enable 1, write enable 2, CS 1, CS 2, data out 1, data out 2, like this you may have address 1, address 2. So, in dual port case everything will be double. So, this block diagram shows that our address is here also again m is equal to 8 and depth is n is equal to also 8. So, different memory locations are 2 to the 8, which is equal to again 256. So, we will have a different location starting from memory 0 to 255. Okay. So, we will write down the code. So, module okay. So, as it is synchronous, so I am taking synchronous single port RAM. Okay. So, I have taken like this. So, you can write the input outputs. So, let us say inputs are address, clock, address, CS, write enable, data underscore in and data underscore out. So, from here, so just to memorize, CLK is the clock input, we will take a positive edge triggered clock. Address is a 8-bit vector which will carry the address value of the particular design. Here it is 8, so that it will have 2 to the m, so total 256 different locations. And CS is a single bit value which is used, which is actually CS many times it is terminology is defined as chip select. So, that particular chip is active to carry out the particular function. That means, it is something like if chip select is high, then only it will work. Okay. It is something like, do not be confused. In next example, I have taken a terminology called output enable OE. So, output enable is high means the output will be available at the output, but chip select is high means it will start operating, because both are two different things. And write enable is the write bit, where you can if it is high it will start writing, and also it will indicate also read, because if it is low it will do the reading operation. Okay. And data in, data out we have taken respectively 8 bit, one is input, one is output. Okay. So, once it is done, then we will do the declaration. So, input, clock, CS, write enable. So, all these are single bit. So, I have written individually. Then you can write down input address. So, address is 8 bit. So, 7 is to 0 address. Okay. Then data input is again 8 bit. So, you can take input 7 is to 0 data underscore input. Okay. And again data output is there. So, that is falling under output port. So, output 7 is to 0 data underscore out. Okay. So, now my part is over. So, next is we will see if you are so this portion you can say we have declared all inputs and outputs. Okay. So, next we will see whether we are having any internal variables and all. So, that we have to discuss. So, obviously, we have certain variables which till now we have not yet declared the memory. So, memory need to be declared. So, memory is again range type. So, you write down range. So, I think we have taken 8 bit. So, width is 8 bit. Then I have taken a name called mem is my identifier for the memory. Then the different locations, that is your depth. So, 0 to 255 semicolon end. So, it creates or this is the syntax for my memory, which is again to the 8 cross 8 okay, memory. Okay. Then I also want to assign values to data out. So, data out also has to be because we will declare it in a always block. So, it has to be again 8 bits. So, raise 7 is to 0 data underscore out. Okay. So, internal variables are declared and input output are declared, modules is also declared. So, next we will start writing the code for writing and reading operations. Okay. So, for that we will use two different always block. So, many times people used to write in a single block, but mostly it is advisable you have two different always block. But there is not a confusion because we will use a writing WE will be used as one of the control unit. So, at any time you may make write enable as high or low. So, obviously, these two always block will not be active at a time. Okay. So, that may also means doubts would not come ki if two always block how it will do parallelly the things, because write enable is a control word control signal. If it is high only one always will work, in other case we will make for reading operation it will be low. Okay. So, you can write memory write operation. So, this is I am writing as comment. Okay. So, always at the rate of positive is clock as it is synchronous. So, you have to take pauses of clock, then write down begin. So, after begin then we will write down if chip select and write enable both are high, then begin do the data write the data into the memory. This is I told reading and sorry, this is I told writing and this is reading. Okay. So, we have declared a memory here which is of location of 0 to 255 and size of 7 is to 0. Okay. So, as I told in the first slide, so we will just write down memory, in that we will write down memory address is equal to data underscore in. Okay. So, you can put 2 end for the 2 corresponding begin. So, here the condition for writing is in comment writes enable should be high and also chip select should be high. So, that what we have taken this if in if conditional block we have put that. Okay. So, both should be high and if condition should be true, then only my data input will be stored in the memory address, internal memory address. Okay. So, this is about writing operation. Then next is memory read operation. Okay. So, for this also condition is same chip select should be high, okay, but write enable should be 0. Okay. So, here chip select is something like it will start the operation. Okay. It does not have any role only starting of the operation. Sometimes there may be a chance it will not obstruct your output to go appear in the output, means data to be appear in the output, it is only operate. So, sometimes in the next example I have taken output enable. So, if output enable is 0, then output will not be appear, even though CS is high, it is operating, but output will not pass to the data will not pass to the output, means reading will not be performed. Okay. So, the same thing again reading operation always at the rate of synchronous. So, we have taken synchronous read, synchronous write. So, write we have done, now we are doing read, which is again synchronous. Pauses of clock, then begin. If again CS write enable, so you can take a NOT, so that it will be active low. Okay. If this is true, then you simply put the data to the output. So, data out is equal to memory bracket address. Okay. So, whatever data is stored, so obviously here first you have to write something, then only you can read the data, else it all things will come as a high impedance Z. Okay. So, whatever data is stored in the memory location, that will be appeared in the data output terminal, which is a 8-bit data. Okay. So, this data will go to this memory. Once it is stored, you can do this writing operation, you can do this reading operation. Okay. So, data out is done, then you can put both end and end module for indicating the end module of this entire code. So, just to summarize, you have to define the module with all the input outputs, where we have to take care that at least clock, address, data in, data out must be there along with the write signal, write enable signal. If chip select you take or not a problem, but it is better you take. Okay. Then you declare the internal values, there you have to declare the memory, and we have also declared data out as a register, because it is being defined inside a always block assigned with a value in the always. Then with the positive edge of your clock, when CS and write enable both are high, we are assigning the data input to the memory locations, that will perform the write operation for the memory, while in reading operation the same thing we will do in poses of clock, only you will take care that my write enable should be 0. So, that it will not do the writing, it will do the reading operation, and the data has to be appeared at data underscore out from the memory location of mem address. Okay. So, this is sometimes people may write down here, else data out is high impedance Z, that you can do. Okay. But sometimes if nothing is there, by default Z will come. Okay. So, what I have done is I have simulated the thing in Xilinx ISE. Okay. And it is the RTL schematic, it is to show that if you write down the same code in FPGA we have done. This is a old FPGA, we have taken Spartan 3, in that platform I have done the simulation. So, it is to show that the RTL schematics is like this, and here if it is visible, it is written MRAM underscore mem1. Okay. So, it is something like in this RTL schematic, this is actually called inside FPGA, we know there are LUTs, there are input output bondings, there are slices. Okay. Apart from that, in all the FPGAs they will have internally RAMs also. So, those are called as block RAM. Okay. So, if you will see, I have also placed the device utilization summary. If you will see output, these are the available resources in that particular FPGA, but slices used is 1, 4 input LUTs is used 1, IOBs use 19. So, this IOBs is input output bonding is, if you will calculate all the input outputs, you will add up, it will become 19. Okay. But one catch here is that we have used a block RAM of 1. This design for implementing the RAM, he has taken one internal RAM on the FPGA. That means like LUT, RAMs are already fabricated inside the FPGA. It is not using configurable blocks like LUTs to form the RAM. Okay. So, it is because if you will use internal RAMs, the speed will be higher, and memory operations are very critical. So, it always advisable that it should be designed by using internal RAMs. Okay. So, it is something like the layout of the RAM is done and it is fabricated inside the FPGA. So, there are lots of RAM like that. So, you can see in this particular it is showing like there are 20 RAMs, in this we have used 1. So, this is that one, just to show you that this happens. Okay. And the block, the bigger block is this. So, you can see here it is showing 256 cross 8, it is justified, means what is 256, what is 8. Okay. And here so this is actually internally it is having a this is a address, this is a address. So, it is, you can say it is actually a dual port RAM internally available block RAM. Out of that, in order to implement this single port RAM, he has used a part of this. So, you see there is enable here, okay, there is a write enable here, there is another write enable B is here. So, it shows it is a dual port RAM. Okay. So, as we are designing SP single port, so it has taken this to implement, but half of the things has been implemented here by using this is actually a RAM whose layout is already done, it is fabricated inside the IC. It is not taking any lookup table to design the RAM internally. Okay. Then the simulation results to show so clock is there. I think I have taken a 20 nanosecond period of clock. Okay. So, clock is there, this part is over. Then address we have taken 8 bit 7:0. So, what I have done in the test bench, initially I have taken address as 0, everything data in as 0, CS as 0 and write enable as 0. Okay. After that I have taken address 5, 6 and 7, randomly I have chosen 3 addresses out of 0 to total 256 locations. Okay. And in that, in test bench I have saved the data like 5, 6 and 7, that means I am writing first, understood. So, that means what happening, my write enable should be high, okay, CS also should be high and clock should be positive as trigger. Then in 5 data 5, in 6 data 6, in 7 in data 7, that means respectively in 5, 6, 7 address location I am saving a data or writing into the memory 5, 6, 7 respectively. You can put any data, okay, and any address also you can see. So, that you can see from here, and also here there is a provision that you can add the memory also to the waveform. So, you can see here mem 0 to 255 7:0. Okay. So, there are 256 number of location, out of this see this is 0, 1, 2, 3 like this it is gone. I am using only 5, 6, 7. So, 5, 6, 7 is green, rest all are red, not being used, not initialized, high impedance or do not care. Okay. So, now when my clock is here, 5 is the address location, at that time my data I have given is 5. So, in memory location 5, 8 bit of data stored here is called as 5. Then in the next clock pulse I am taking 6 memory address. So, this is my 6 memory address, I am storing the same amount of you can say 60101 binary value here. So, in this clock address 6 is stored. Then in the next here I am giving 7 here data in, these are all data in. So, here it is 7. So, last value is 7 I maintained. So, it is throughout 7 into the entire simulation time. So, this is 7. In this clock period it starts storing here or writing to the memory of mem 7 location of 8 bit data of 7. Now, it is done. So, during this happens because my write enable is high. So, you can see write enable is this, it starts high from here till now this period. After that, even though my data in is here you can say 7 and my addresses are also 5, 6, 7. So, you can say like in 5, 7, 6 also 7 and 7 also 7, there is no much changes has been done because write enable goes down. So, it will do the it will start reading operation. Okay. So, here itself only you go to data output. So, now this is my data output. So, here again depending upon the address location it will start reading and clock should be positive as trigger. Okay. So, now clock is positive as trigger, in 5 it shows in output 5, in 6, 6, in 7 and 7. That means, I have shown here in the simulation both writing and reading operation. So, this is how your simulation is complete, you should not show only writing or only reading. Okay. And initially if you will see during this period as writing has not done, so while it is reading by default do not care values are coming, that is why it is treated in shown in red color, understood. So, this is all about how to model a single port synchronous read and write, but in each case you see wherever the values are being changed, 5 here positive at 6 in 7 and here 5 also pauses, 6 also pauses, this is updated, 7 also in pauses. So, all these things happens in pauses of clock. So, that it shows it is a synchronous single port read and write memory, random access memory. Okay. now what we have done is there are various models are available. Next is a single port RAM asynchronous read with synchronous write. So, there may be a chance that you do not want to read it in active edge of your clock pulse, you can read it at any time, but writing should be done in sync with the system clock. Okay. So, here I have introduced few different things, part of this code is taken from ASIC world and few are modified. Okay. So, here the same thing is done, but output enable also I have added here. So, it will show that like if output enable is high, then only the reading will be completed, till it is low reading will data will not appear from the internal register to the data out. Okay. And chip select is the same thing, if it is high both the operation will be done, and the rest of the things are almost similar. Write enable will take single bit. Okay. In many times you may take write enable different, read also different signals, but it depends, then in that case you have to write the code appropriately, because both at a time they do not do the writing and reading at a time in a, if it is a single port RAM. In dual port RAM it may be the it may do both at a time in different two block of memory, and in single port it is a problem. Okay. And what we have done is we have done a parameterization of the same code. So, module RAM single port asynchronous read synchronous write. Okay. Time scale you know. So, clock input address again input, data in is here actually input. So, do not read it as bidirectional. So, it is only one input, this I have changed the code. Then CS is chip select, write enable will do either enable or it will do read enable, and output enable is there, and data output is my final output. Okay. It is again then same to the m cross n, where m is equal to 8 and n also is equal to 8. Okay. So, data we in order to make parameterization we have taken data width as 8, address width as 8. Okay. And RAM depth we have taken 1 with left shift with address width, that means 1 shift with 8. So, that means it is 1 into 2 to the 8. So, you know that left shift will always multiply with 2 to the n operation. Okay. So, it will again the same thing 256, it is another way you can write it. Okay. Just to also to do parameterization. So, input clock 1 bit, address is 8 bit. So, as it is parameterized, so you have to write down like address width minus 1 is to 0. So, which will come around 7 is to 0, so total 8 bit. Okay. CS is 1 bit, write enable is 1 bit, output enable is also 1 bit. Data in is another input, again it is we have done data width minus 1 parameterization. So, it is again 8 bit. Okay. And data output also we have taken 8 bit, because our width is 8 bit and depth is 256. Okay. So, again you declare the internal variables. So, data out again by using parameterization we have declared, also by using parameterization we have declared the memory. So, what we have done is data width minus 1 is to 0. So, it is something like same range, data width is 8 minus 1. So, 7 is to 0 mem, then 0 is to RAM depth minus 1. So, it is 256 minus 1 is the same thing. So, in first example I have not done the parameterize to maintain the thing simple, to understand the concept of RAM, internal architecture and also simulation results. Okay. So, here we made it parameterized so that an added features can be learned. Okay. Understood. So, memory is done. Now, next is write the code. So, always at the rate of same poses of your clock, same thing, CS and write enable is high, then whatever data is there that will be stored or it will be written into the my memory different locations. Okay. And while reading operation, here is write is 1, CS is 1, and we have not written anything here about output enable. Okay. So, output enable is only be there when, as the name indicates, it is something like tri-state logic will be there. So, output is appeared in the output or not, like that. Okay. So, you know now output latch is there. So, it is a tri-state logic. If control signal is high, output is equal to input, else Z. Okay. So, that is why output enable we have taken towards the right side, that is read operation side, means towards the output side. So, as it is again not synchronous, only synchronous write. So, clock with respect to poses of clock we have written in the write operation. Okay, but in read operation, as it is asynchronous, so there is no concept of clock here. So, you have to again come back to that sensitivity list part. Okay. So, whatever there on which this is event triggered or depending, like address, output enable, write enable and CS. So, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So, on that the entire block will be dependent, or this you can say combinational block, not depending upon the clock. Okay. So, if CS if all these are there in sensitivity loss, CS is high, write enable should be 0 to do the read operation and output enable should be high. So, that output will appear in the data underscore out, then the whatever data inside here, that has to be written in the data underscore out. So, this is also very simple. So, if you learn in a flow, it is all things are simple. Okay. So, this is asynchronous read and synchronous write. Now, again I have put the simulation result here. So, one thing you should know that internal signals, internal memories can be added to the waveform of any simulation result and you can observe it, because see I have given input from here, observing output from here. So, sometimes there is a chance, or 80% times you will never get the output directly in the output, means data will never appear, there may be some x, z, some garbage value may come. So, in that case you may require to see the internal memory or internal signal values. Okay. So, the provisions are there in the tool that you can add it, it will not come directly in the window, only input outputs whatever you have defined here, this portion, that only will come, this portion does not come. So, you have to add it to R2 waveform. So, that I have done here. Okay. So, as it is synchronous write, so you see same data I have taken. So, again 5 6 7. So, till I am writing in 5th location of 8-bit data a binary value of 5. So, at the active edge of your clock pulse. So, here my 5 is stored continuously there, it is not changed throughout the simulation. Okay. And the location is also 5. Okay. That you can see from here. Similarly, in 6 and 7 at active edge of your clock plus 6, and here at 7 you will get a 7 value. So, this is synchronous with the clock, it is writing. So, while asynchronous, what I made it, I have made this available in the test bench in between a negative period of the clock. Okay. So, you can see that whenever data is available, depending upon the sensitivity list CS, write, means again in this phase you will find that your write is high from here to till here. So, in this duration I made the write as 0. So, it will start trigger the next always block, reading operation. Okay. And here you see there is no pauses of clock. Okay. But in subsequent value of a address values or locations, the whatever data you have stored earlier, that is being appeared. Understood? So, everywhere it is not in line with the clock, it shows that it is asynchronous reading RAM with synchronous writing. Okay. So, your test bench should be written in such a way that it should cover the at least both the operations. So, it is always advisable that it should cover all the memory locations and its means all the kernels should be tested, but sometimes we may not test, it takes time to test the entire data to store in each location and read it, but anyway both operation should be tested. So, that you should take care in the labs. Here you can see it is 95 nanosecond, my clock period is 20 nanoseconds. So, somewhere it is not coming in line with the clock. So, that is called as asynchronous. So, here we will end this class. Next class we will discuss about in detail of the memory, it will continue.